Okay, welcome to this hopefully short demo. My name is Merlin, and you're here to see how these brushes work. Quick disclaimer before we start. You might hear me refer to these as brushes, but these are not brushes. These are smudge tools. And I say this and it's important because if you try to use them as brushes, this will not work and will probably look awful. So make sure that the little finger indicating the smudge tool is blue. And so there's 9 tools in this set. They're quite experimental and I'll explain how I work with them one by one. But the key takeaway is that I've organized them in 3 groups. The first one, you work smudging outwards. The second one is just a general blending tool. And the third one, you work inwards first. You'll see what I mean as I demo them. So we're going to start with the first 4 smudge tools here. And it doesn't have to be a cloud, but I made a little cloud as our base here. And you want to start dragging that paint out by using your smudge tool on the edge of that shape. You're not lifting the pen at any point. You're just dragging and waiting for the paint to start running dry. And as it does, you will notice that it starts glitching and creating these fantastic shapes and color variations. This is our first one. This is Silver Lining. And this brush has a tendency to turn white the drier it gets. So if I start to notice that it's getting a little much, I go back to that initial shape and I drag that gray back into the mixture to kind of tone it down. As you can see, I'm always working in circular motions. I'm always mixing. On to the second one. This is Cloud Chaser. This one has a more noticeable pressure sensitivity. So depending on the pressure, it can get quite big. And in the beginning, I accidentally lifted the pen. And as I went back in, you can see how it's blended that edge on the left corner, which was unintentional, but it's nice. It's actually quite nice. So I think I'll be doing it a bit more. But it's mainly a good brush to get those big blobs of white. Here we have Bubbles. This one doesn't turn to white as it dries out, and it will actually burn to black if it runs out of paint completely. But if you maintain those circular motions and remember to dip into the original shape frequently, you'll get this metallic effect. They can create a lot of interest in itself. The last one from the first group is Soap. And it works exactly like the others. We pick from the edge of the shape and we wait until it glitches to start blending in circular motions. This one has a quite obvious iridescent effect, and it feels like a nice middle ground between Silver Lining and Bubbles. And now we can move on to the second group, which is composed of 1 tool, and that is Mist. It's just a general blending tool. It doesn't do anything fancy, so I'm not gonna waste too much time here. The third and last group is a bit more tricky to work with. To get the best results, my first stroke is from the outside edge inwards, and then picking from that new edge, we drag the paint outwards. It's a 1-2 action. You can see it well here. This one is Dusttail, and it's a nicely textured tool that has a glittery effect to it. Hard Substract has a toothpaste kind of feel to it, but you have to be very precise in picking your edges. It's a nice chunky brush though. It looks a bit painterly to me. And yeah, I do realize that there's a typo in there, but I'm not recording this video again. Last one is Smooth Subtract, very similar to the previous brush. But this one has a more of an airbrush mixing going on. When you drag the paint, it just feels more airbrushed. Kind of like putty in a way. And that concludes the demo for these blending tools. These are quite experimental. So if you try them, if you find a use for them, it would make me very happy to hear. So do let me know, and thank you for your support. And if you leave me a like, that also helps me for sure. See you next time.